Welcome in. Make the Turn with Jack Brusewitz. Great to see you, sir. As
Sully,
always.
great to see you as always.
Thanks for coming in.
My
Appreciate
pleasure. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Look forward to diving into some of your story. And as we were kind of talking about earlier, with these discussions, we really try and just unpack and just see where it goes and keep it organic about your career. Lessons, networking, all of it. There's so much I think we can get into. But from a Make the Turn perspective, yeah, there are so many turning points in people's career, and it's great to have people in. So, number one, thank you, and just look forward to kind of unpacking some stuff,
Yeah, likewise, and I appreciate it, and hopefully I know we'll have a good time, as we always do. So,
absolutely. We got Anthony Tomey coming in later, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Your guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Saw him yesterday.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if you can handle both of us in one day.
I'll be tired by the end of it. No. Well, Jack, I want to start with going back a little bit till we go forward. You were saying some great things about some childhood and education and kind of just how it all started with you and people that you really learned from. Can we go back a little bit and tell the folks about growing up and then getting into education a little bit?
Yeah.
Where you went to school?
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, two wonderful parents, John and Mary. Unfortunately, they're not with us anymore, but they instilled a lot in myself and my two older sisters in terms of the values and what you need and the character that you need to go through life and to be successful and to add value to the community and all those types of things, and the willingness to be able to not just work for a living and not just be with your family, but also help others.
Yeah.
Right. And that's very, very
For
important. Sure. And with that, faith is a big part of it, right? We grew up very Catholic, and those values and ethics to this day are very important to me as well. And it's extremely important. But education-wise, I went to Sweetest Heart of Mary grade school in Detroit until that closed, and I think it was my fifth or sixth year. I can't really remember its grade, but then I went to St. Mary's in Mount Clemens for seventh and eighth grade, and really enjoyed that. So automatically, when you were in Detroit at that stage in the 60s going to grade school, you didn't just see people from your neighborhood. You met people from all types of life, which was pretty. Sure. You didn't realize how that experience shapes you moving forward.
Yeah.
And then obviously after St. Mary's, I went to De La Salle for 4 years, and that was in Detroit at the time as well.
And I love it. I'm going to piggyback off that because I was Catholic school as well. Our Lady of the Lakes in Waterford.
Right.
And Jack, as you know, there's a huge, even from a business perspective, and we're going to talk about your financial services and the stuff you do with energy and your career, of course, but from a business perspective, the Catholic League in Detroit is great networking as well. And I do feel like there's kind of a bond between a lot of people that, grew up in Catholic school locally, the values, as you mentioned, it really can help shape and start your life and career.
Yeah. One thing, everything you said is spot on, but it also teaches you something, and you can't make excuses. You things don't always go your way, and you have to learn to live with it. And you have to figure out how to make it right. And you have to learn how to compete.
Yep.
If you can't compete, you're not going to be successful in the school, in the classroom, or on the field, whatever you might be playing, or whatever other.
Well, and I want to talk about your sports as well.
Yeah,
and talk about athletics.
Sure,
too.
Sure. So obviously, I grew up playing everything, or trying to play everything. But I think just basketball just seemed to be the sport that I gravitated
and you're a tall guy.
Most.
No surprise.
And I wasn't always this tall, obviously, but I was always maybe one of the taller people. But basketball just certainly seemed to be my best sport. I loved playing everything. Loved playing football.
Yep.
Loved doing everything. Wasn't very good at baseball, but decent football player. But basketball was just where it was at. And so having the ability to play that throughout my whole life, it's just been a blessing, really.
Yeah.
And I stopped playing about 10, 12 years ago, but bottom line is it's taken me to a lot of places. It allowed me to, as you know, playing at De La Salle in the Catholic League Central Division, there's no other better competition in the state of Michigan. Yeah. And so being able to do that in the 70s and then go on and play at Eastern Michigan, and then beyond, not only overseas, but also with some USA teams in my 30s. It's just a true blessing.
Yeah.
And it taught, and you meet a lot of people, see a lot of things, learn a lot of things, but more importantly, man, you're really competing.
Yep. And I think you mentioned too, no excuses as well. The one other thing I think about with sports and what it teaches you, and as you mentioned, whether it's basketball, football, golf, hockey, whatever, rightfully so, you hear a lot of the cliche, hey, it teaches you hard work and stuff like that. And that's great. And it's true. But the one kind of more granular and important thing that I really think sports teaches you is time management.
Yeah.
Much like no excuses, it's also very important to show up.
Yeah.
And to show up on time. And when you're growing up playing sports and you have study hall at this time and film at this time and practice at this time and you have a game, you better show up. It teaches you to be accountable and to show up on time. It's the classic half the battle is showing up in life. And I think, Jack, I'm curious your opinion on that time management topic. I think that really sets the tone for college, for the workplace, for jobs, for interviews, for meetings. You got to show up on time.
Oh, you can tell in the business environment, you can tell who never really was in a sport, especially a team sport, because, it's not about you, right? It's about the team. And you can tell there's sometimes in a business environment where people are either constantly late or showing up right at that last minute.
Yeah.
And, if you're on a team, if you show up when you're supposed to show up, you're late.
Yeah.
Right.
And you called me earlier and even asked, hey, what time do you, just to make sure.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a perfect example.
Exactly. So, yeah, you can always tell, and you can always tell the people that are used to working or learned the culture of a team environment, right?
Yep.
And that's in business, you need a team.
For sure.
Right.
Do you talk for a moment about Eastern Michigan? I know you've been very involved with the university over the years.
Yeah, no, I loved it there. Still do. Still very involved. In fact, as you mentioned, Anthony, we had a dinner last night with the new president and our foundation director and our athletic director, and Anthony and his brother. So we had a really good dinner last night in Detroit, and just very welcoming for the new president to meet a lot of people, and so really appreciate that. But It's a very important part of my life. I went there and I was able to. Initially really not have the success I wanted as a freshman, and then knowing that I was going to play a lot my sophomore year then Ray Scott was a coach, a former Piston coach who recruited me there.
Sure.
Great man, and he has a lot of different things that he's educated people on throughout his life, as well as you can imagine everything he's gone through for someone his age. And then I hurt my knee my sophomore year and didn't really play, and I was probably able to come back in January, and I really wanted to and help the team. I would have got significant minutes at that particular time, but the coach and the older players on the team said, listen, this is not a good year for us. We're not doing very well. Coach is probably going to be fired, and it's in your best interest not to play this whole year.
Wow.
And I didn't want to do it. I fought it. And these guys turned out to be right. The coach said, I'm not playing you.
Wow.
And it turned out to be right. So I saved that year. Other than playing 10 games, I saved that year. Was able to, new coach came in, Jim Boyce, who I got along with great. Played for him. I was his captain for 3 years, and we had some moderate success and won some big games, lost some big games, but we had a really good experience there.
Yep.
And then I certainly kept a relationship, and so did they, which is equally as important.
I feel like you're we're going to unpack some of the Detroit Athletic Club stuff too, but you're really involved with so many organizations, and I always see you out and about, and you're networking, and networking is such a big priority for us as well. But Jack, it seems like you have done a great job just continuing to water relationships and just connect with people. You have, whether it's the Catholic League, whether it's Eastern Michigan, whether it's, of course, your career and your jobs, which we'll get into in a second, whether it's Detroit Athletic Club. I feel like you have, it's fantastic. You have so many different funnels of connections and networking that is so important. Yeah,
thanks for noticing. And really, it wasn't necessarily done by design. Mm-hmm. I just do it because I want to do it, and
that's
I enjoy
the best way to do it, in a genuine way.
Yes,
not
very, very
going
genuine,
into it with a lot of people. Sorry to interrupt, but it's the purpose of these discussions. So many people, I think, can sometimes view networking as transactional, or what am I getting out of it? Go into it with a genuine way, like you said.
Well, there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
That they actually, if they do a favor for you, or you ask them for something, and 6 months later, hey, remember when I did this for you? Mm-hmm. That doesn't go over too well with me. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I'll help when I can. If I can, I'll tell you. Unfortunately, I can't help. But if I can help, and if I can do something, if I have the time, I'll try to do it. And,
right. And you do it in a genuine way without the expectation of,
correct.
Hey, I'm going to do this and this is going to come back around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because then it's not genuine.
Right.
Yeah. To your point. So, and I think that, again, we talked about the values growing up through our parents, and you're similar.
Yep.
And I know Anthony's very similar as well. That's what we should be as a community.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Jack, let's talk about your career. We just spoke about Eastern Michigan. Walk us through a little bit, and again, we joke about we don't need to read the resume per se, but walk us through after Eastern Michigan, getting into the business world, financial services, and you're doing a lot with energy right now. But give us a quick snapshot of your career.
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to be in some type of sales. That's just it was a given. And back then, sales was a little bit different than now because technology changes everything.
Yep.
And people my age, we didn't really grow up with technology at all. And so learning it kind of on the run as you're going through your career is much more difficult than someone who is basically educated on it from an early age on.
Yep.
However, so I always wanted to be in sales, and I had an opportunity back in the I think it was 84, 85 to get with Merrill Lynch, basically the old stockbroker days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And financial services, investment advisor. And I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it for a number of reasons. I liked the industry, number one, and I loved the people around me. I really met some of those people I met throughout the 5 years I spent at Merrill Lynch are still some of my best friends, right? And but I knew at the time that, I did everything corporate wanted me to do, but I wasn't happy with where my career was developing, and I knew I wanted to do more institutional work, and that's what I really like to do is go out and do presentations, and I'll get to that in a second. But to institutions, and that's kind of what I wanted.
Sure.
And that opportunity wasn't at Merrill Lynch, so I moved on at the time to Payne Weber, and then another company. Noticed what I was doing and made an offer to me. So I went with a couple companies doing that. And it worked out pretty good. I liked it a lot. It was a very interesting time. And again, that industry's evolved a lot over the last 30 years too. So with that, one time I was with a company and the owner started stealing money from the company, started stealing money from clients. It was a bad deal. Yeah, it was unfortunate. It was another basketball player. I won't mention his name.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Yeah, it was a bad deal.
That sounds like it.
In fact, one time he stole money from a client, and I was already gone because he wasn't paying me. And FBI calls up and they said, "Do you know where so and so's at?" And I don't know where he's at, but if you find him, let me know because the son of a bitch owes me money too. So I never did get it. But bottom line is that's when I started to get on the energy side, and somebody called me up and said, "Hey, you're doing a lot of work with, your typical municipal market, university market, hospital market, healthcare market, that side of thing. We have some energy work that needs to get done in these areas, and it's really selling to the same people."
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'll give it a try. And so one thing led to another, and then I started to do some energy deals, occasionally financing them. And then sometimes I would purely do some finance work, and that's when I started a firm, Great Lakes Capital Markets, and got involved in that. Did that for a while. Now that's branched out into more alternative financing for some small to mid-sized companies to go along with my energy business. But bottom line is, I looked at different opportunities, and sometimes opportunities come your way, but you don't always see them.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm sure there's some that I've passed up because, you had the blinders on at the time. You're thinking about something else, or you're focused on something else. But sometimes opportunities are there, and if you grab them, it can be very worthwhile.
Sure. Well,
and that's sort of what happens. And now I've done an awful lot of public finance, but now I'm pretty much strictly on the energy services side of the business, which means that we help people with whether it's procurement of electricity or natural gas, but also the other side of the meter within the building itself and all the equipment. And, it might be a central plant for a large city or a large university, or it could be something smaller, like a facility like we're in right now. When you look at all the mechanical equipment and how they're using the energy, are they efficient? Can they do better things? Can they save some money? And then how do you finance it? And what vehicle do you use to make it worthwhile for them?
So this is in a full circle, as we've talked about time management many times already on this episode. Is that what takes up most of your time right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
as it should.
Yeah.
That's it's a breadwinner, so to speak. So that should take up a lot of time.
walk us through what is you mentioned various facilities and sizes. What's an ideal type of client, an ideal type of engagement that you guys are getting into?
Yeah. So, for example, a company I worked with for a while back, we did, for example, Georgetown University.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of issues there from an energy standpoint, and there's a lot of growth, and also they want to become more sustainable, and they want to save money, and they want to also reduce their risk. So they want other firms to take on some of the risk that's involved in all these energy facilities.
How does that come about, Jack? What's the first step in terms of is it an RFP? Is it a bid? Is it them just calling you? Is it what's the starting point at looking into an engagement?
It's a lot
like
of freaking work is what
Yeah.
it is. It involves a lot of people, a lot of organization, a lot of strategy. And that's one of the things I like about the business is the strategy part of it, because not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
It's not, when I've never been one to sell widgets or sell something, it's like yourself, you're a very comprehensive type of program here.
Right.
And that's what we have is myself and my partners, when we go to these deals, it's a very comprehensive type of energy solutions component to it. So again, are you talking to the right people? Who makes the decision? Is it a committee? Is it a group? Is it, how does that work? And then politically, what are the landmines out there, and can you overcome them, right? And so sometimes you look at a great opportunity and think, you know what, it's just going to take too much time and too much effort. I can't do it.
Sure.
Other times you take that risk and you go, okay, we're going to go for this.
Yep. That was big for us even, as a company. When we first started 6 years ago, at first we take, you kind of just take every single thing that comes in. We'll figure it out.
Right.
But when you get to that point of, hey, let's identify on our end, is this the right type of engagement? Does it make sense for both parties?
Right.
You don't want to just take fast money. You don't want to just do an engagement and bring on a client that might not be the best fit.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Sometimes the best client you get is the one you never got.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great quote.
Yeah.
Sounds like something from Mad Men.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I want to ask you too. We've spoken about networking. We've spoken about even how some of these things come about. From that lead perspective, how are you guys mainly getting leads? Because when you think of it, it could be cold, it could be networking, it could be advertisements. How does a lead come in for you guys?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I looked at that I haven't looked at that in a few months, but I looked at it about 6 or 8 months ago, and looking at my current lead and prospect list and the past clients, probably about 35 to 40% come from my networking and
Cool.
my efforts, right?
It's huge.
That's a big part of it. The other part is sometimes you have people out there that are consultants that can help introduce you to other industry people, and that's about 25%, right? And the rest pretty much is through different networkings or sometimes an RFP or something like that. But typically, if there's an RFP and you don't know about it, somebody else already has it baked, and you probably don't look at it too much.
Sure.
You might look at it, but go, man, I really don't have a chance here. Occasionally, you may, right? So it's a combination of those three things.
That's great.
Yeah.
So on that note as well, with Detroit Athletic Club, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been on the board 4 years now.
This is my fourth year.
This is your fourth year
Right.
on the board, and
Right.
you're going to be a president of Detroit Athletic Club in a couple of years.
Right.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
I want to continue this discussion of networking, and as a member at DAC myself, it is such a great place to meet people. I know it's done a lot for your career as well, and it's such a fantastic club to be a part of. Talk about your involvement in Detroit Athletic Club. I'm sure your excitement to be president in a couple of years and
Right.
all that has come with being on the board.
Yeah, well, thank you, Sully, for that, and we're obviously excited to have you as a member as well, and Kyle too, and it's a wonderful place, and it's a wonderful place not only because the facility is so great and it's kept up so well, but it's the people.
Yeah,
It's really the people, and the people aren't just the members. The members are wonderful. We'll get into that in a second, but our staff is second to none.
for sure.
One of our things that we continually try to impress upon within the club in terms of what we want to do is be the number one premium hospitality venue in southeastern Michigan. And I think we're accomplishing that, right? So thank you for that. Yes, it was it's tremendous and an honor and a privilege to be selected and win a preferential, meaning in 2 years in 2028
It's a
I'll be
historic
president.
club.
So glad to have you on board. But yeah, there's a lot there. And sometimes you get really involved in something And initially, I was just kind of involved in basketball and some of the fitness things, and the restaurants,
Yep.
right, which are all second to none. And then the more you're involved, the more people you meet, you get asked to do some things, and maybe a committee here, a committee there, and next thing you know, you're asked to do some more things, and next thing you know, years later, you're on the ballot for the board, and then 3 years later, then you're on the ballot for the preferential, meaning president. So it kind of goes pretty quick, and if you're doing all the things that you're asking, and people seem to like what you're doing, it kind of gravitates into that, But observing a lot of members and their families and seeing them enjoy the club and what the value that they get out of it. And it's so special, I think, in southeastern Michigan, because it is truly southeastern Michigan. Even though it's in downtown Detroit, there's people from all over.
Yeah.
And you see these families getting together with their young kids when one might be on the east side, maybe let's just say Grosse Pointe or Mount Clemens, and somebody else in Northville or Ann Arbor. And they would never meet any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And those kids have a distinct advantage in their lives moving up, because they have the kids in their neighborhood, the kids in their school, but now they have friends other parts of the city.
Sure.
It's pretty nice.
And it has it all.
Right.
The food program, the athletics, the business connections. I really view it, Jack, as an opportunity for for all of those different areas. When you think about it, I've been to a lot of events, much like yourself. We've been to settings where people are hawking business cards and something like that, but it's never like that at DAC. Of course, it's organic, and it's much like we talked about earlier. I've found that people are very friendly and happy to chat and want to just talk and get to know people.
They do.
So on one hand, you have the social element of the club, where it is connections, it is entertaining friends, families, clients, bringing people to the club, events, tailgates, all of that. On the other hand, of course, you have the athletic side and all that goes into that. But it really is, you used the word comprehensive earlier, a comprehensive seemingly program of mixing social and athletics and family and all of it. Right.
No, couldn't be further from the truth. And let's not forget, though, with the club, and a big part of it is community. Mm-hmm. We realize that we're privileged to be able to belong there.
Yes.
And I think all of us understand that. And so giving back to the community is a big part of our club. Mm-hmm. We do a lot of it, and always looking for ways to do more. And we don't advertise a lot of that, but it's a significant part of our club.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Let us take this wherever you want in terms of detail, more or less detail, however you want to, but let us into the behind the curtain on the board at DAC, so to speak, meaning it's people who are really involved with wanting to have leadership. It's people who really care about the club. You're obviously going to be the president, and I'm sure that comes with a lot of responsibility, comes with a lot of decisions, a lot of forward-thinking ideas. What is it like to be on the board, leadership at Detroit Athletic Club, and obviously going to be next president in a couple of years?
Yeah, great question, and it's exciting. I'm not going to lie, it's exciting. It's all those things you said are true, but we have a very, very strong and very good governance model, right? And with that, our executive manager Charles Johnson is there's none better in the country. Maybe the whole world, who knows, but he does a great job.
And has won a lot of awards, too.
He has won a lot of awards, and his team, his top management staff is phenomenal. And so when you put all that together, we're truly there as a governing board for the club.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be.
Sure.
And then each one of us have different committees that we lead, and then maybe so each one of us will have one or two committees where we're either chair or vice chair, and then a member-driven community of a club. We have members that are on those committees, right? And so a lot of decisions are made through the committees, then up to executive manager or board. So it's a very good model. The model works very well. Mm-hmm. And so we have 18 of us on our board right now, and it's just a really pleasure to serve with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and just in wrapping up, Jack, and I want to get your advice for people here, to close in a minute. But before we do that, anything to share on what's next for you? Obviously, we just mentioned you're going to be president in a couple of years, but you're super involved in DAC. You have a lot going on with your businesses. As you think ahead a little bit, the next several years, any big goals or a what's next type thing?
No, great question. I mean, I would like to maybe take a little more time and travel and enjoy life a little bit, but we'll see how that works out. I think everyone has plans on that a lot of times, and
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't quite work out. But no, I'm very excited about what's transforming as far as the Detroit Athletic Club and my personal life and the business ventures that I have going on. I'm constantly looking for other opportunities to work with people that I know, my friends, that we can really develop some things. And, it's one thing, I've traveled around the country doing these deals, but you're doing them with people you don't know. Yeah, you get to know them as you do putting the deal together, but then half the time the deal gets done and you never talk to them again, or, there's no other way to connect with them. So doing some deals and opportunities with my friends, my contacts that I know here in Michigan or somewhere else in the country, that's a pretty nice thing to do. And so I'm looking to do some of those things right now with some of them and see how that pans out. But no, it's and the one thing I will say to end is for anybody out there when they're doing their business, and about 10 years ago I learned it was a nonprofit, and there was somebody discussing about a different governance model. And he wasn't just presenting to us; he was educating us. And there's a big difference, when you're out there selling something between presenting and educating somebody.
Sure.
And I think if there's one advice I can give somebody from a sales perspective, is don't present, educate.
Well said.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you too, and that's a perfect way to kind of wrap up. And with the Make the Turn podcast that we do, everyone kind of has those turning points in their career. Did you make the turn to the next level? Did you make the turn to a new job, to a new venture? You have a lot going on, and I think that piece of advice is fantastic. Is there any other piece of advice that you would share for someone that is really just trying to build their career?
Yeah, I mean, I think trust your gut, and just don't do anything if you think you're gonna regret it later, don't do it. Everyone makes mistakes. It's okay to make a mistake. Don't make a really bad mistake, but just be good and be true to yourself. And just make sure if you're going into business with somebody, make sure it's somebody that's not going to stab you in the back too. You don't want that, right? So you guys are a great relationship, and it's working out well, and that's awesome. God bless you guys, and all the luck in the world. I know it's going to be wildly successful what you're doing, and this is tremendous studio and organization that you're putting together. So really happy for you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jack. Appreciate you coming in, and look forward to seeing you at DAC, of course, and just continuing our friendship, and appreciate all you do at DAC as well, and you guys crush it, and it's very appreciated where the club's at right now, all the happenings and all the constant improvements, forward thinking things. So thank you for coming in, and appreciate it.
My pleasure, Sully. My pleasure.